Hello and welcome to our next live studio session. We're going to discuss a little bit more the future of the common Balkan market with the representatives of the tech parks here in the region. So join me in welcoming all the people that are here with us today and that were part of the leadership panel that just before they discussed about how to advance the situation in the Balkans and how to make this common market a reality. Now, in our first session, we had the startups from each of the countries and we were discussing the same questions with them. The startup from Serbia, actually, City and Me, they discussed and they said that they would love to have a little bit more support from the tech parks in order to have closer communication with the government and the policymakers. So, what is your view of this? Do you agree with this? And can you elaborate a little bit more? How can we do a little bit more further down? And if anyone else wants to join and to discuss a little bit more how to help the policymakers do something more about the startups and the startup ecosystem in Bulgaria, in Balkans.
I'm glad that one of our startups won an award within the challenge, but I can say that I only partly agree with that, and I will elaborate why. I think that speaking about the science technology parks, there is a dilemma. What are the services and the portfolio of activities a science and technology park should do? For sure, we have to have some incubation programs supporting early stage startups or more mature startups to further develop through programs, through mentorship, through connection with academia, with whatever kind of things they need. But I'm not sure that science and tech park should be sales force of a startup. On the other side, I think that building an innovations ecosystem is not possible only if you work with the startups which come to you and knock on your door. So you have to work a lot on developing and creating the ecosystem so that you can influence the creation of startups. You can do this only if you are linked to all the major stakeholders in your region, and municipalities are certainly one of those. So in this regards, I agree that the linkages should be empowered, that the awareness of local self-governments and public sectors of the value startup solutions can bring to them is huge, and there I see the role of the park, but I don't see the role of the park as a sales force of a startup. So I think that I just learned that we need to work them more on their sales strategy.
Which is quite a good understanding, so we can continue further down the road with that.
May I also ask something? Why do a startup need to communicate with the government? What's the need to be connected with the government? Being in Silicon Valley, I was dinner 2 weeks ago, and the question is, do a company needs to have a science park to be linked with the government, or it is needed to be directed and connected with a lab, with a customer? So the government should not always be in the middle. Is that right? That we have done.
Yes, for sure. If I could add, what I would say, what is that magic magic trick, or what is actually the core in this when we are talking about innovation. I believe that it's actually about the mindset. I believe that I see the very important role of science technology parks in this manner. Great. Meaning that we have somehow to boost this innovative, creative mindset, first of all with our students, and afterwards to whole population, in order that they are thinking a bit broader than boundaries that they have maybe by our educational system. And I believe that that should be the core point and core thing that we should do in upcoming period. And I believe that synergy of all of us is essential.
Great.
I just need to address only one specific case regarding the specific startup. Their market, their service is actually for the local self-governments.
Yeah, exactly.
So in the specific case, there are much more reasons to establish this kind of linkages. But I fully agree with you.
Like the startup who won the prize today.
Yeah.
Okay, so continuing this fostering the learning process of the startups, we have such kind of events like this, and what is the benefit of such kind of events? I want to address you because you said that in Larissa there is going to be an event in February. So can you say a little bit more? Why do you think that such kind of events are fruitful, and we need to have them even more to develop the Balkan market?
We are organizing for the third year the Innovent Forum, which is a link between investors, academia, research centers, hopefully next year with science parks, and a lot of startups are coming there in order to see what they can gain from an investor, what do they need from an investor. It's something like the event that we have here today. The 16 startups that we are hosting here in Sofia Tech Park, they are gaining knowledge, they're gaining mentorship, they're more ready to go out to the market because of this event. And network, finding new partners is very important.
And I would like to add, I mean, having events like this is really, most of the time they are very helpful for those type of companies. Why? Because, I mean, most of the dreams are, I have an innovative product, I would like to go on the American market, I would like to go on the world market. Okay, this is great, you have to dream, but before that you need to practice, you need to do your homework. So if your market is small, I mean the country market, Bulgaria or Serbia, or is small, then you reach out, go to the Turkish market, go to the Greece market, practice yourself, and then go on and compete on the global market.
So it's like a stepping stone that you go
I think
one
so,
step,
yeah,
second
yeah,
step, third
yeah.
step, and then you go
So these
worldwide.
type of activities, they can help out our companies around here to be more self-confident, but also to know that they have a practice field very close. And as we are, doing our partnership events, I mean, now it's very easy. If a company of ours, for example, call me and say, well, we would like to go to, to sell something in Istanbul. I mean, our innovative product, we would like to sell it in Istanbul. I need to go there. I don't know the regulation. I don't know who to call. It's very easy, to call a certain technology parks. They can help out with some office, with some meetings. So this soft landing is also very...
Yeah.
I think there is another reason that I so very important, because all the science park, technological science park, had universities. And in universities, there are solutions developed from the tech, for example. And from next year will be money for widening country for the pre-accelerator startups. And I think it's important in this ecosystem to encourage collaboration, to encourage startups to apply to, for example, European Innovation Council, of course, the European Innovation Council, and to receive this money and develop the product.
Yeah.
And I think just want to add more in global markets like the US market or the China market. The first questions they ask to startup is, okay, who was your first customer? and who is your second customer and the third customer, and especially like the health entrepreneurs in the health sector and other sectors, they ask the questions like why your country or why your region don't use that one. So they expect you to be used by your local market and your neighboring countries first, so you can actually justify your own products in your own regions to go to the more global markets.
I have to add one more very important thing. Here when we speak about the 15 science parks, with our members, we have maybe more than 1,000 companies as an internal market. Not only the market as a buyers, internal market of knowledge and experience and failures, because this is also a mentors, this is a crucial problem within our internal small national markets, whether we are smaller or bigger, but still there are a lot of expertise missing, at least in our country. People who are mentoring are tens of people, and the number of startups is growing. They cannot have expertise in every specific individual area, and through this kind of network, I'm not anymore 70 companies, which is huge, excellent. We are now accessing 1,000 startups and their experience as a resource for our startups. We are experiencing, I don't know, the challenges coming from technological companies from Sofia Tech Park, where we can engage our researchers from the community. So everything becomes different when the numbers are different. We become much more interesting for investors, and so it's really a good.
Okay, great. You laid the first step today, signing the memorandum of working together as a whole, one market, as a Balkan market. What should be the next possible step or probable step, or what should we do together as a startup, as a tech parks, as a community, in order to make this vision come true? What you said is a vision, which is a great vision that I personally want to be part of this vision also. So what should be the next common step?
Yeah.
First, in my opinion, we will discuss it tomorrow, but
of course.
but in my opinion, we need to map the strengths and weaknesses of each park. What each of us is doing in our park. So to analyze all the services that we are providing, all the equipment and the facilities that we have, and what we can share. So this is the first step for me. If we understand each other, then it will be much more easy to collaborate and work together. This is the first step for me.
I remember a few months ago we were, kind of discussing what shall we start with, and there was by the way, at that time there was a fine idea. It came from Mr. Kokorotsikos from Thessaloniki. So the idea was to set a kind of local regional academy to develop some very crucial skills for the staff of the science and technology parks. So we are facing also the challenge of wanting to grow very much, but at the same time we don't have enough sources of knowledge how to grow our staff, because our staff is providing the services. They are very important for the startup, for the scale-ups. So this is something in a long term that we also have to do. I mean, to improve our skills, to have a, let's say academy or a vocational school or something. So over there we can exchange some good practices from the different institutions in order to grow our young fellows in the parks and in our teams. So this is something that we have to
That's
do
great,
also
and
those.
education is my passion, so having this is going to be very helpful, I believe, for the whole common Balkan market. Okay, before we end, of course.
The last thing I think
Yeah.
probably we are going to discuss today and tomorrow, like two important parts. So it is like we have limited resources. We all know that like our resources are limited, and the world is limitless. So we definitely need to prioritize our needs and our visions to have a more focused work on what we could accomplish instead of dividing our resources to so many things. So I think this alliance is going to definitely help us to set up those prioritized items in our own agenda, in our common agenda as well, and also to have these international events at a regular period, so we could all get together and everybody get excited to be over there as well.
Of course, yeah.
One of the things I have seen throughout all of the parks is that we all have some, let's say, main event for the ecosystem organized by each of the parks. Maybe in the first period, participation of the network, whether it will be on a CEO level or a staff, where we can decide that, I don't know, finance people, project people will work on some specific event, but this will get us to know better the strengths and weaknesses, not only of the host, as well of the other participating, and we do not need to invent. There are professional networks of this kind of organizations. There are good and bad practices. So I'm sure that tomorrow throughout the meeting we will decide on a couple of most important. We all agree that the resources are limited. We are fully occupied internally, but we all agreed that we want to dedicate some resources on joint activities, so I am optimistic.
So sharing these resources might help you free some of these resources in order to focus in a common goal. That's great. So as a final question, just to think of innovative ways on how to overcome this. We are in the Common Balkan market, we are 15 countries actually, we are here in the Common Balkan market, and we have a lot of different languages. Some of us are similar, probably a little bit more, others a little bit less. How can we overcome this language barrier? What can we do in order to help each other and go further?
English is the best solution probably.
English is the best solution.
I would even say that even it's not the barrier as such. I don't see it as a barrier actually.
That's great. If you don't see it as a barrier, that's enough as an answer.
Actually, it's not a barrier, but it's an incentive for our entrepreneurs to be able to speak a global language as well.
That's
so
great.
in order to move on to these other global markets, first they are going to practice those language things in our own ecosystem as well, and we can it's going to be like a family environment, a close and friendly environment, so they can come and identify their if there is any their weaknesses and their strengths, and then they will be ready for bigger challenges in their entrepreneurship journey later on probably. But I think our as you said, the differences is also our strengths as well. So,
exactly. I have to address one thing. I agree with English, but I think that on the left side, we could speak all our own languages and understand each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Some of us are closer, others are a little bit far apart. But English is the answer. Actually, it's a barrier, but this barrier might help us go further, even in the worldwide market.
Even improve the English skills for them.
And improve the English skills, so we are better.
Learn and educate, and maybe exchange the best practice, even in speaking, in pitching in front of others.
In English.
In English, yes.
Practicing. Yes.
And how they can explore a new market in Asia, for example, without knowing a new language.
Exactly.
So they need to learn English.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for joining us with this interactive session, and I wish you good luck with everything that you do, and I hope to see you again in the next conference and to be together again to discuss the common market. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.